Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. This time, we're going international. We're headed to Thailand to check out what's going on over there in the world of smart manufacturing.
That's right, we are.
So we're going to be, exploring a specific case study and kind of like get into the weeds of how this particular beverage company, is really kind of leading the charge in this area.
Yeah, and it's funny because when you think smart manufacturing, you think robots, right? You think all this fancy tech.
Right,
And
gripping.
what's so interesting about this is it's actually not just about the machines.
Yep. Yeah.
It's really about the cultural shift and the people.
Yeah, and that's what I'm excited to dive into.
Yeah.
So this company, we're going to call them TCP.
Yes.
They are like a massive global, beverage giant.
Exactly.
And we're going to be looking at this YouTube video from Texas.
Yes.
The title's in Thai. Don't worry, we've got you covered on what it means.
I've got you.
But it's called the VZEVA Smart Manufacturing Tech for Biz EP9.
Yes. And what's interesting about TCP is they've been around for a really long time.
Yeah.
They are known for quality. They're known for efficiency. And they actually already had a high volume of production and really heavily automated systems.
Yeah, I mean, they were already like on the cutting edge before they even got into this whole smart manufacturing push.
Yeah. They had sensors everywhere, But they realized that they needed to get even smarter.
Okay, so what was the issue that they were trying to solve?
It's like they had all this data
Yeah.
coming from all these different sensors, but they weren't really able to analyze it effectively or really take advantage of it.
So it's almost like they had, like, a million pieces of a puzzle,
Yeah, exactly.
but no picture on the box.
Yes. And they didn't know what to do with all these pieces.
Right.
But they partnered up with a company called Revo NEX, and they really helped them put it all together.
So tell me about Revo NEX.
Yeah, so they have like this incredible experience working with SCG Chemicals, which is in the petrochemical industry.
Right.
And so you can imagine that's a really, really complex system, right?
Yeah.
They had like 22 plants and 5,000 pieces of equipment.
Whoa.
So they were already working with this idea of, predictive maintenance and how do you keep these critical assets up and running.
Because if one thing goes down, the whole operation could,
Exactly.
be a risk, yeah.
So they brought that expertise to TCP, and they helped them build what's called a digital reliability platform.
So this is like the kind of thing that helps them predict when equipment's going to fail and prevent these shutdowns from happening in the first place?
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. But, what really struck me about TCP's approach
Yeah.
is that they didn't just throw technology at the problem and expect everyone to adapt overnight.
No.
It was really about bringing their workforce along in the journey.
Exactly. And, a lot of their employees were, they weren't super familiar with things like AI or sensors, and they were kind of nervous.
Right. It's that whole fear of robots taking over the jobs and everything.
Exactly. But what they did is they really focused on a people-first approach.
So they made sure everybody was on board with this whole transition.
Exactly. And it was a key part of their success. They really put the people at the center of this digital transformation.
I love it.
Mm.
All right. So how did they do that? What were like the steps involved in this process?
Okay, so they basically worked with Revo NEX to implement these 4 key modules.
Okay, lay it on me.
So the first one is what they call IoT and data.
Okay.
And basically, this is all about gathering data.
Yeah.
From all these different systems within the TCP factory.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had some legacy systems, some new systems,
Right.
trying to get it all connected.
Like a central nervous system for the factory.
Exactly. That's a
Yeah.
great way to put it.
Okay. So they've got all this data. What's next?
Okay, so then they need a place to put it.
Okay.
So that's where the second module comes in, the platform.
Right.
And so this is a customized platform
Yeah.
that Revo NEX developed specifically for TCP, and it gives them all these real-time insights.
Oh, so they can actually see what's happening in the factory, as it's happening.
Yes. Visibility.
Okay.
Like they've never had before.
So that's pretty game changing.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So what's the third module?
So the third one is domain expertise.
Okay.
So, Revo NEX didn't just hand over the platform and say, good luck.
Okay.
They provided all this expert guidance on asset performance, helping TCP really understand, what the data was telling them.
So they were kind of like coaches, consultants, helping them through this process.
Exactly.
All right. So we got one more module left. What is it?
Okay. The fourth one is probably the most important, culture transformation.
Okay, tell me more.
So this is where they really tackled the human element.
Yeah.
They helped TCP with all the cultural changes that come with embracing new technology.
Right, because you can't just like, flip a switch and suddenly everyone's like a tech expert.
Exactly.
So they had to like train people, they had to get buy-in, they had to
Communication, collaboration, the whole 9 yards.
So this culture transformation was really central to making sure this whole project worked.
Absolutely. It was a huge part of their success.
Well, this is exciting. So tell me, in the next part, we're going to get into, some more details about the actual results they achieved.
Yes. We're going to talk about how they were able to improve efficiency, reduce costs, and ultimately make their employees happier.
All right. I can't wait to hear more. Stick with us, everybody.
See you soon.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're digging deeper into TCP's smart manufacturing journey in Thailand.
Yeah, and last time we were talking about how they shifted from, always reacting to breakdowns to actually preventing them.
It blew my mind a little bit. It seems almost impossible.
Right. I mean, think about it. They were really worried about their employees. Are they going to freak out with all this new technology?
Like, are we going to lose our jobs to robots?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they actually made employee buy-in like their top priority.
Okay, so how'd they do that?
Well, first of all, they did a lot of education and training.
Okay.
They really demystified concepts like AI and sensors, and they showed employees how these tools would make their jobs easier.
So it's like they were saying, look, this isn't here to replace you. This is here to help you.
Exactly.
Make your life better.
Yeah, like work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
And then they also fostered this environment of open communication and collaboration.
So people could like ask questions and share their concerns.
Exactly. So it wasn't just top down, like do this.
Right.
It was really about making the employees feel like they were part of this whole process.
I love that. So I'm trying to picture this in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, what did TCP's smart manufacturing setup actually look like? Like, if we were to walk onto the factory floor, what would we see?
So imagine sensors everywhere,
Okay.
like strategically placed throughout the factory, gathering data on everything.
Right, little spies
Yeah.
reporting back to the mothership.
Yeah, exactly. So they're getting data on how each piece of equipment is performing, the overall production output.
So it's like the factory has this heartbeat
Yes.
that they can constantly monitor.
Yes, you got it. And all that data is flowing right into the customized platform that Revo NEX built for them.
Oh, right. The one that's tailored to their specific needs.
Exactly.
What kind of magical stuff does it do with all that data?
Okay, so first of all, it gives managers this really clear view of what's happening on the production line.
Okay.
In real time, they can track the output, they can monitor the equipment.
So it's like a control panel for the entire factory.
Yes, like they can see every single thing that's happening at any given moment.
And it's all like right there at their fingertips.
Yes, exactly. But here's the really cool part.
Okay.
The platform uses AI and machine learning to analyze the data
Yeah.
and predict problems.
Hold on. It can predict when a machine's going to break down.
Exactly.
How does it know?
It's like magic, but it's not.
Okay.
It's data. So it looks at the performance history of the machines, the usage patterns, even things like temperature changes.
Wow. So they can see like, oh, this machine's been running a little hot lately. It might be about to crap out on us.
Yes, exactly. And so because they can see these problems coming, they can schedule maintenance during planned downtime.
Oh, that's smart.
So they don't have these like emergency shutdowns in the middle of a production run.
Right. So it's smoother. It's more efficient.
Exactly. Less downtime, less money wasted.
Amazing. So they're saving money. They're making their targets.
Yeah.
But what about the employees?
Oh, yeah. So remember they made employee buy-in a priority.
Yeah.
Well, all that training and communication really paid off because the employees were comfortable with these new tools and they actually saw how it made their jobs better.
So instead of being afraid of the technology, they were like empowered by it.
Exactly. And it created this much more collaborative and innovative work environment.
So it's like a win-win all around.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, improved efficiency, reduced costs, and happier employees. That's the dream.
It is.
So is this like a one-off success story? Or can other companies replicate this? What do you think?
That's a great question. And that's what we're going to be talking about in the final part of our deep dive. So stick around.
Okay. We'll be right back after the break. All right, we're back and ready to wrap up this deep dive. So TCP's story is pretty inspiring, right? They went all in on smart manufacturing in Thailand, and it seems like everything's running like a well-oiled machine. But it makes me wonder, can any company just copy and paste their approach?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is there some magic formula?
Well, there's no like one-size-fits-all answer, but I think TCP's journey offers some really valuable lessons.
Okay.
For any company that's kind of thinking about getting into this whole smart manufacturing world.
All right. So what's the first takeaway?
Okay, so the first thing is you got to shift your thinking. Smart manufacturing isn't just about buying the latest tech, it's really about creating this whole ecosystem.
Okay, so it's bigger than just robots.
Way bigger. Technology is important, for sure, but it's only one piece of the puzzle.
Okay, I'm listening.
You got to think about your processes, your data, and like we talked about before, most importantly, your people.
Yeah, TCP really nailed that whole employee buy-in thing.
They did, and that's something that any company can learn from.
Yeah.
You know, you got to
Yeah.
invest in training, communication, collaboration, make your employees feel like they're part of this chain.
Like they're leading the charge, not being dragged along yet.
Exactly.
Okay, so create a culture where everyone's excited about innovation. What else? What other gems can we glean from TCP's experience?
Well, they also showed how powerful the right partnership can be.
Right, they didn't go it alone.
They brought in Revo Next, who really had the know-how to guide them through the process.
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't want to be like trying to do brain surgery on yourself, right? Sometimes you need an expert.
Exactly, and especially when you're dealing with technology that's changing so fast.
Yeah, it's like trying to hit a moving target.
It is. So find the right partners,
Uh,
invest in your people, and create that holistic ecosystem.
so far, so good. Anything else?
Oh, one more thing.
Hmm?
Don't be afraid to start small. You don't have to revamp your entire operation overnight.
Okay, good advice.
TCP started with just one pilot project,
Yeah.
focused on a specific area, and then they gradually scaled up.
Okay, so test the waters before you jump in head first.
Exactly, baby steps.
Yeah,
And you know, smart manufacturing, it's not a destination, it's a journey.
I like that.
Technology is always evolving, so you got to be flexible and you got to be willing to adapt.
You got to keep learning.
You do always be learning.
Okay, so for our listeners out there, if they're thinking about, maybe exploring smart manufacturing, what's the one thing they should keep in mind?
Honestly, don't forget about the human element. It's not just about the tech, it's about your workforce. Invest in them, create that culture of innovation, and, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Awesome advice. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive into smart manufacturing. And a big thanks to TCP and Revo NEX for sharing their amazing story. And to all our listeners out there, keep diving deep.